rock. Hawk Tawk, ride with us. Glad to hear y'all dropped in. Hawk Tawk, ride with us. Walt and Dave get locked in, and let's go.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Dave DeRocher, and I'm joined by a whole cast of crews. We got Walter Thurman III, and joined by an old friend, Mike Tice. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Dave?
We're doing well. So we've got Mike for a short while. He's got a busy schedule, and it's fun to get joined by some of the guys that, even though I wasn't there very long, but seeing guys like Edwin Bailey and Steve Large and Paul Moyer, and getting to share old stories about playing for a coach that everybody loved, and that was Coach Knox.
Yeah, we all enjoyed playing for him after we won, but we didn't enjoy playing for him when we lost. And we certainly didn't enjoy Fridays when we went full pads, short yardage, and goal line. We didn't enjoy that either. So I don't know how much enjoyability. What were you on, something every day or something where you enjoyed it every day? I didn't enjoy it every day.
So Mike, I keep sharing stories with Walt. Walter's the new age guys. A little bit easier to practice. I remember reading about.
It just stuck out to me though. Full pads Friday, day before the game.
Yeah,
that's pretty intense there.
Yeah, it was the same way with all the old school guys. When I went to the Redskins as a Plan B free agent, I was there 2 training camps, but 1 year, and then went back to the Seahawks. But when I was there, Joe Gibbs did it the same way. Fridays was full pads, short yardage, goal line, and then you took them off. But, man, we got short yardage and goal line, full pads every Friday. Yeah. These kids don't know how good they got it, man. And then,
I don't know.
And then all that long paper they're signing contracts for. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I was looking at, and I know that you went on to coach, but I didn't know you coached for 22 seasons.
Yeah, something like that. I went into coaching right after I played for Denny Green as an old 36-year-old tight end for the Vikings. And then Tony Dungy got the head job at Tampa, and he took Chris Furster with him. Chris is now the offensive line coach at the 49ers. He took Chris with him as the offensive line coach, and then I slid in there as a tight end coach, never having coached before. But Denny Green was a great mentor, a great teacher of coaches. He was from that Bill Walsh tree. So I went right into coaching right after I played.
Yeah, well, when I was watching the game and I see, you roaming the sidelines and Mike Tice, offensive line coach. And I said, what? And you did that for the majority of your time, right?
I mostly was an offensive line coach when I wasn't, coordinator or tight end coach or a head coach. I've worn all the hats. But, the offensive line, Denny, again, he hired me as the tight end coach. And the next year, Keith Rowan went to the Raiders as like assistant head coach, O-line coach. And that was kind of a falsism. He was really the offensive line coach. But back in those days, you couldn't make lateral moves. Well, you really couldn't make any moves. As a coach, you were locked in. They treated us like crap, the NFL. Mm-hmm. And so Keith went as the O-line coach, and Denny came in my office one day. I was only a coach 1 year, and he said, hey, what do you think about coaching the offensive line? I mean, we're not idiots. We all knew Keith was going to Oakland. And I said, I really want to be a quarterback coach. I played quarterback. I want to be in the passing game. And Denny Green, who never, ever cussed. I never heard him cuss except for that moment when he said, I don't have an effing quarterback job open. Would you like to coach the offensive line? And I said, yes, sir, I'd like to coach the offensive line. He walked out. He calmed down. He came back an hour later. I was making $90,000. He came back an hour later and said, by the way, that's $190,000 salary. I said, I love coaching the offensive line. So that's how I coach. That's how I started coaching the offensive line, just like that. Poof.
Well, and then you worked your way to a head coach. I mean, I think, like the offensive line is really an esteemed coaching position. And I don't know why that is, but but you're coaching really 5 positions at the same time, with different mentalities and getting them to all work as one. Maybe that's why. But what was that like then going to where you're calling all the shots? Was it a huge jump in stride? I mean, what was it just the mindset of doing that?
Well, coaching the offensive line is a great job because you have the most players besides the defensive backs, as Walter will tell you. You have the most players in the room, in your meeting room. I always had 12 or 13 players that I had to coach. And back in the old days when, you didn't have 24 or 26 assistants like they do now, I was it. I did the drawings. I did the meetings. I coached all the positions. I drew the cards. I did all the effing stuff. And so that's the way it was. And then it changed. But being the head coach, as long as you were organized and were able to, manage and make sure that your defensive coordinator, your offensive coordinator, your special teams coordinator, all knew what type of plan they were trying to implement for the players and that the players understood it. And if you liked that and checked off on that plan as a head coach, really, that part, the football part wasn't that bad. Day of the game is day of the game. You have to make decisions. We didn't have, all the replays and all that stuff like they have now where you can't make a mistake. Back then you make a mistake and the next day the press is kill you. Nowadays, they have video of everything and it's hard to make a mistake as a head coach. So times have changed. I'm old. I'm 66. I've worn a lot of hats. Nowadays, I only wear a hat so I cover my head and I don't get sunburned in Vegas like I did 2 weeks ago. So, that's where I'm at.
So before you got into coaching, did you have an expectation being a player and then going into the coaching space?
Well, no, my expectation, Walter, is I was a backup tight end. I went from playing quarterback at Maryland, hurting myself, hurt my shoulder, not being able to really throw, coming into the Seahawks as a free agent quarterback in 1981. There was 149 guys in camp. And then, they looked at me and said, I was 6'7", 245. I could run with anybody. Back then you would run the lap around the field over in Cheney, and that was a long way to go. And they all said, oh, you'll never beat Jim Zorn. Well, I beat Jim Zorn. So I was showing them I was in shape. I was physically capable. And Jack Patera called me in 1 week. I wasn't even there 1 week, 5 days in training camp. Because back then you didn't have an off-season program. So they saw you at minicamp, then never saw you again. Yeah. And so they make their list of their expectations or their thoughts on athletes that they brought in. And that was it. Then they saw you at training camp. Well, I had about 3 days to decide, was this for me or what? But Jack called me and said, you got 2 choices. Well, he had a deeper voice than mine. He said, son, you have 2 choices. You can go home or you can move to tight end. Well, unbeknownst to him, my brother John was a really good tight end at Maryland. And he was behind me, and he played with Boomer Esiason and was the 3rd tight end drafted in the 1983 draft. But my point I'm trying to make is I knew after I came back from minicamp, I didn't have an NFL arm. So I trained with my brother John all summer as a tight end. I did not throw any passes. Because I knew if I was going to play in the NFL, which of course was my life dream, and every young athlete's life dream, hopefully it is, especially the way they're getting paid now, is why wouldn't it be a dream? I knew I can only make it a tight end, and so I trained all summer as a tight end. I ended up making it and starting the opening game against Cincinnati. I think I caught 5 passes, but I didn't catch a lot more than that over 14 years. I think I caught 8 in 14 years, but no, that was those were good times when you were young and you were athletic and you were tough and you were determined and you can do whatever you wanted to do. As long as you went out and worked at it, you could do whatever you want to do at that age. And I did it. And I was very proud of myself.
So, I'll tell you, I've got a couple stories to share about Mike. Mike played for 10 years. I played for 1. So I remember everything.
14. Don't cut me short. Hold it, Dave. I played for 14 years. Don't cut me
14
short.
Years. That's what I meant.
10 years with the Seahawks.
Okay, there we go. That's what it was. And
that's where you got your 10.
The Redskins and the Vikings. So Walt, I told Mike, I go, hey, my co-host is Walter Thurman, and he goes, oh, the Duck? I'm like, yeah, the Duck. He goes, okay, I'll see you at 7. Hey, Pete, can you throw that picture up?
Well, that's not Walter running out of the tunnel after the head
No.
got knocked off the
So,
dock,
Mike.
is it?
So, Mike.
Did you see that, Walter?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was you. The head got knocked off. You didn't want anyone to know it was you, so you ran back through the damn tunnel.
Hey, you gotta be,
What you got?
Okay, you see that picture?
Well, barely. I got to put my damn readers on.
Oh,
What you got?
Yeah. So, I was so happy, to make the team, and I'm lining up for the team picture. Do you see me like shorter than you?
Yeah, but you weren't really. You were the same height as me.
I know, but the reason I'm shorter than you, Mike, and you don't remember this, is that I'm standing between you and Fiesel. You look at me, and go, "Hey, rookie, you can't be as tall as me. You got to step down a rung." So,
isn't that nice? And you were behind Skeletor, number 83. Remember Skeletor? He caught that big ball in New England.
Oh yeah.
What the heck was his name? Damn it! I'm getting old. Yeah, Grant Fiesel. Oh my God, deep snapper. Yeah, that's a good-looking group. Joe Vitt up there behind John Spagnola next to me. Joe Vitt. Yeah. I think he's back in Denver coaching. He's still coaching.
I still see him storming the sidelines.
Yeah. He's like the head coach's. Get me water. I'm thirsty.
Yeah, but we didn't drop it down so you get focused on. That was. I remember. I looked at you. Really goes. Yeah. You go. Yeah. Step down one. So fair enough, man. I'm just happy to be here. So it was.
Oh, that was good. That's a good deal.
I remember. Taking a trip out to the racetrack a couple of times with you too, and that was a lot of fun. You still have your horses?
No, I only follow people that I know that have horses.
Okay.
And so this way I don't have to pay the day money. I just bet on them.
That's right.
You got race horses?
I used to have race horses. I have not had race horses since probably 2016. Okay. I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, but I got grandkids. Hey, I got grandkids now, Walter.
Yeah.
I'm
intrigued about the horse racing though, right now.
They get all my money. I was just talking to Skittles the other night. He called me because he got into the horse racing business. Marshawn, yeah. So yeah, we were together in Oakland. So he called me the other night because he bought part of Torpedo Anna, which is a champion filly. And he bought part of that with some other people, he was telling me. But the guy he bought it with, John Sikora from Hillendale Farm, is a friend of mine. And he said, "Do you know everybody?" Because he said, everywhere I go in the horse business, "You know Mike Tice?" And because I've been around the horse racing since 1985. And, the horse racing people are different. They're a different brand.
Well, it was fun. You took a few of us linemen. I think Bevo went, maybe Mattis,
Millard.
And we're there, and you had the guys coming by, kind of whispering in our ear a little bit. I've never won at a racetrack before until I hung out with you, and that was fun. I think we even hit a trifecta or two.
You don't want to hang out with me now because I can't pick my nose, man.
I still hang out with you, man.
We got Del Mar and Saratoga, man. That's the time of year where I shouldn't bet horses because I can't pick my nose.
So, hey, actually, we could bring Cedric in because I know Cedric is a guy down here, Mike, that runs all the watch parties in Southern California. And he does a takeover in LA. When we go down to SoFi Stadium, you would swear you're in Seattle. The party that this guy throws. And we always have a 12 come in and join us. And Cedric's more than that. Like I say, he coordinates a lot of things. So we just like to include everybody. How you doing, Ced?
Good, man. I'm glad you brought me in, man. I was sitting there watching you guys have a good time. I'm like, bring me in, man. Mike Tice. Mike Tice as a quarterback, that's what I never knew. I couldn't even see anything in you like a quarterback. I was like, I didn't know that.
I was average. I think I was 8-3 or something like that. Lost the bowl game against Florida, but we did okay.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So share. We have to get. So we've had Largent, we've had Moyer, we've had Norm, we've had a bunch of guys from the Chuck Knox era.
Don't admit that you had a kicker on your show, please.
Yeah, well,
please do not. Please do not admit that you had a kicker on your show.
It's Norm. You got to have.
And I guarantee you, he's watching right now because he texted me. He heard I was coming. Norm plays in my golf tournament every year in July that we have at Whitehorse and at Clearwater Casino. we have a celebrity tournament every year. Norm plays in it. So, I know. Believe me, I know Norm.
Yeah,
I hate kickers. He knows that too.
He's a great guy. So, but everybody has their one or two Chuckisms. And I know you were there a good minute with him, and I know you're actually close with him. I know you guys got along. Share with us, just whether it's a story or or some of his sayings that the lunchbox and all the things and the PPPs or whatever. If anything comes to mind, I don't want to tax your concussed old brain, but I know you've got to have something at the tip.
And it's concussed too, right? Well, the biggest one that he had that always tried to teach us poise, that I always took with me, not only as a player but as a coach and as a head coach, and try to calm your guys down or talk to your guys before a game when maybe you were a little bit outmatched and you had to make sure they didn't poop their pants too early in the game and they hung in there, because you never know. You hang in there, you could win a game. But he used to always say, play the hand you're dealt. So whatever happens, it happens. Just deal with it, man. Just calm down. You don't have to get all crummy and you don't have to get all bent out of shape. It happens. So play the hand we're dealt. We'll just figure out what do we got to do. And so I really enjoyed that saying, but Chuck had so many sayings that, I still use today. I mean, I was on my show this week with Pete Carroll, and we were talking technique. And I said, old Chuck Knox used to say all the time, technique wins. And that basically, I said, covers my butt, because I wasn't a great athlete. But if you had better technique, you could, outplay a great athlete if his technique was poor, because, with me as a blocking tight end and this and that, I was able to stay in front of guys and move my feet and know by certain alignment if he was going inside on pass protection or something to that extent. And not only did that help me as a player, an average athlete, it helped me as a coach to teach that to my players, where footwork, technique, that's always going to win for you, especially in the offensive line position.
Yeah. Well, you shared kind of that transition from O-line coach to head coach. And, and I'm sure you remember that Coach Knox, every time one-on-ones was going on, that's where you could find him. You wanted to be down there and see the big guys, putting in work. But for a rookie, man, you could just feel his eyes like in the back of your head.
Well, you got to remember that he was an offensive line coach for the Detroit Lions. He was an offensive line coach for the Jets. That was always his background, and that's where he was going to spend most of his time. And I found that as a head coach, that's where I spent most of my time. The poor guys like Steve Loney and Tim Holt, who coached the offensive line for me, I feel sorry for those guys, because you're always, as a head coach, you're always going to the area. Like Pete, you watch Pete. Pete's always with the defense, and I was at a bunch of Raiders practices this summer, and he always tends to head over to that defense. Always tends to head over to defensive backs, because that's where he cut his teeth as a defensive back coach. I'm talking about Pete Carroll, of course, for the Minnesota Vikings, with 1 year with Bud Grant, and then the rest of his years there with Jerry Burns. So that's how head coaches tend to. It's the same like Saban. Saban was a defensive back coach. He always ended up with the DBs.
Yeah.
So said, you go take the floor, man.
As far as things we're doing down here in Southern California, I know that's kind of how you introduced me. So we're doing some good stuff, man. We got the first game of the season. It's coming up in a couple of days. I'm excited. It's 49ers. It's going to really test who we are. Just talk about the Seahawks a little bit, man. Our defense looks good. I'm excited for our defense. In the preseason, the way we ran the ball was impressive. I don't think any other team ran the ball like we did, especially against Kansas City. I'm just kind of all geeked up on what I saw in the preseason and our offensive line. And I don't know if Mike Tice can speak to this, but our offensive line looks athletic. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell how good they are yet, but they look athletic, which we haven't had a real athletic offensive line in a long time. I don't know, Mike, have you seen our line? Does it look pretty good to you?
I know some of the guys. I did some work for my son Nate on the draft, and I know I did extensive work on the Zabel kid. I kind of predicted that one day he might end up a center, but he's a real athletic kid out of North Dakota. Charles Cross. Has played. He's got a couple of years under his belt. There's a big a fight. I think at one of the guard positions. It might be the right guard where they really haven't decided who's going to be the guy yet. But yeah, Abraham Lucas plays the right tackle position. He's another guy that can move his feet. But when I was an offensive line coach, when we went into the draft, I talked about offensive linemen this way. I want guys that are big, really big, and athletic. And so that means they can move and change direction, and that are smart enough to know, when the linebacker shift or the safety comes down, that's the side the pressure is coming from. So we wanted to make sure that we had those intangibles when we drafted or signed any free agent offensive lineman when I was with the Vikings and all the other teams I was with, quite frankly. I think the Seahawks are going in that direction. I know I love the running back room because my man Kennedy Polamalu loves the running back room. They got big backs. I like big backs. Make those little DBs tackle because you guys don't want to tackle Walter. And so, I told the guys early, I think before you came on, Cedric, I picked the Seahawks defense in my family 12-person fantasy football league. I picked the Seahawks defense. So I like, you got a defensive head coach. That's where, just like I said, that's where he's going to spend his time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree.
I like the Seahawks to be like a top 5 defense in the league. The personnel, the scheme. It very reminds me when Walter was young and there in 2014 when they were just athletic and they flew around stout in the middle and a solid defensive backcourt.
I mean, arguably one of the best defensive backfields in the game right now. Top 5 for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. They got a tough one to open up, though. That's a tough.
I feel like it's going to be a very run-heavy game. I think it's going to test our interior to see, can we stop the run? Because the receiver.
Well, that's the formula that the Vikings try to use with Darnold. He can't drop back 40 times a game, and you can't win the game because he's going to at some point make mistakes. And sorry, Sam, but that's just your history. But with a running game and some good play action, and he's a big kid, he's got a strong arm. He's going to be good. You got that kid from Ohio State, Smith Njigba. I don't know if that's how you say it, but he's got some great qualities about him. He's going to be a great player, I think, like a lot of those Ohio State wide receivers. So, I look forward to, I'm not sure about the tight end room. I know in watching the Raiders practice, they got 3 good tight ends. I don't know how many good tight ends the Seahawks have, but we'll see. I'm excited. I think it could be a good year for the Seahawk faithful.
I tell you,
the 12s. Is that what they call them? The 12s?
12 now, yeah.
I don't even know they call them that anymore.
We're the 12s. We're not the 12th man anymore because of legal reasons, I guess.
Yeah, they call them something else because I know they sponsor some stuff at our golf tournament, and then they got offended when I referred to them as the 12s. You got to call them. I don't know what you got.
Well, we're the 12s. I mean, you said it right, but it was the 12th man. But now we're not that because of legal reasons, whatever else. But now we're the 12. So
yeah, because the Seahawks took that over because of the NFL. Because the NFL wants all the money. So that's the way it goes. So, Dave, let me ask you one question before I go because I got to scoot.
All right.
Let me just take a guess. I'm just taking a wild guess. I could be wrong, Walter. You tell me, Cedric. You drive a pickup, right?
Yeah.
Dave, you drive a pickup?
Yeah.
I knew it. Damn, God. I'm getting smarter in my old age, right, Walter?
Bro,
there you go.
I don't know what gave me the clue.
Yeah.
Whether it's the beard, the hat, or the American flag in the corner, and God bless America. But I knew for some reason you drove a pickup truck.
Or Mike, I'm 6'6" and 305. I don't fit in anything else.
I'm bigger than you. So.
You win. I know. Hey, have you shrunk yet? I'm shrunk an inch. Have you shrunk?
I'm still. My wife thinks I'm getting taller. Diane thinks I'm 6'8". I'm 3.
Yeah, yeah.
318.
So my little
Yeah,
brother.
you heard me, Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My little brother who played basketball, he's growing. He's like 58, and I know he's.
I think I grew, man.
He's 6'9". How does that happen?
I don't know. I was
gonna say you skinny guys, but you're not skinny anymore.
I ain't skinny anymore, brother. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Mike. I appreciate the time, man, and it's good talking to you. I knew it'd be fun catching up.
Yeah,
and,
let's do it again. Let's do it again during the season.
Yeah, and let me know about your events because the 12s love to support. I know we already have people commenting that have been to your event, that have supported you, that follow us. But let's push out everything you're doing in your show.
And let me give a shout out to my show that's on in Vegas every Friday and Saturday, and it's on YouTube. Is where you're going to have to watch it if you live in Washington State. But it's called The Coach's Cut with Mike Tice. And so we had one show. We had Pete on. We're having Pete on again this week, and then we're going to go down the line and get Kevin O'Connell and a bunch of head coaches on. I hope, but we'll figure it out, man. So
well, Kevin's a fellow Aztec. One of my helmets up there, Aztecs. And he's doing a great job. It's great to see him doing
a great job. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, appreciate your time, buddy.
Yeah. All right, man. You guys have a great night.
All right.
Yeah, good to meet you, Mike. Awesome.
Talk to you later.
All right, guys. Hey, so that's and Pete will take you off. There we go. And waiting in the queue is our odds maker, Especial, Rafael Esparza. We're going to talk about over-unders odds for this week. And Rafael, how you doing, brother? Rafael?
He's like trying to figure out.
Rafael? And Pete.
Nope.
Let Rafael hear what we're doing.
He's right there.
All right. Cedric.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how are the watch parties going, man? Everything's kicking off.
Yeah, everything's kicking off, man. So, Sunday's gonna be big. I'm excited. Every place that's holding something should be full to the brim. I think everyone's excited for the season. It's gonna be a real good test to see what Mike was brought in for, to be honest with you. That defense to cut down the 49ers, to cut down Kyle, what Kyle does. He knows how to. So it's been 3 years now? And I think it's starting to come together. So I'm really excited to see how our defense cut down Kyle's offense, because this is maybe why he's here, right?
You guys hear me?
We can hear you now. What's up, man? But yeah, I'm excited, Dave. I'm really excited. And like I said, every place should be popping for this first one. It's a rivalry, first game of the year. Should be full to brim. So I'm excited, man.
So now we've added a spot. We've added the Wild Goose. Do you have any other new spots that have come out as far as that you guys are? You are the directory. Everyone knows coordinates the Seahawkers, Seahawk groups, 12s, whatever you want to call it, because everyone's got their own little giddy up. But give me any other new spots that you want to put out on blast.
Well, you got your new spot. Down in Newport, right?
Right.
What's called the Wild Goose.
The Wild Goose on 17th Street. Yeah.
Wild Goose. So that's a new spot. As far as that's the only one, as far as I know.
Okay.
We got the ones that are already in existence, the ones that got established. But yeah, it's been a cool journey, man. It's like when I first got the group together at the backstage in Culver City, a lot of guys came through, and people couldn't get in because the line was so long,
Yeah.
And it's not a huge place, and so people started asking me, where, can you help me out, over here and in different areas. I said, yeah, I'll give you my recipe a little bit, but that's about it. You got to build it from that and run it. So everything's kind of gone through it, and then wherever people are now, they've kind of gone through it. So we're all still kind of tight, right?
Yeah.
Because they all kind of came through the backstage a little bit, through at least asking me for advice, whatever else. So it's kind of like it's awesome because there's no competition, which is cool within us. I've seen other groups. My friend ran a Green Bay group, and there's like 3 or 4 factions, and they competed against each other and they hated each other, and it's like that's just weird.
Yeah.
And so I'm like trying to make sure that everyone knows that all the spots we go to, we're just like it's like an ocean of Seahawk fans, and we're kind of the buoys, Culver City, Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, places like that. So I'm just trying to.
So I know Huntington's been they've been at Wet Dog for a while. Wet Dog closed down. Are they back open?
They're back open.
Okay, good. All right.
So,
Hey, if you're dog friendly, head on down to the Wet Dog because hence the name. So they have a little spot down there, and they're Seahawk fans. I've actually been down there. To your point, we're not in competition. There's plenty of Seahawk fans. We just want to put as much good product out there, but we are proud of our fact that the Wild Goose is open up for us, so we're actually going to be able to do the show. I've got about 3 or 4 other former players, not necessarily Seahawks, that are going to be joining us, and we'll have former players all week. We'll be doing giveaways and all the fun stuff that like what your other spots do. Everyone has their little their little forte or what they do, but that's what we're going to be doing down there.
That's awesome. Good stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Raphael, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
Pretty good. How you guys doing, Walter? Good to see you again.
You see Raphael? Yeah.
Yeah. And have you met Cedric?
No.
Okay, so Cedric, as I was mentioning, he's kind of like King Seahawk of Southern California. He doesn't. Like I said, I kept trying to make my way out to the backstage, but he goes, Dave, you got to get here early. Otherwise, there's a line out the back, and I can't help you. And I'm like, oh man. But that's a good problem to have. But he does do, like what we're going to do on the 25th in Arizona. The takeovers, the Seahawk takeover parties at visiting stadiums are nuts. And says it's off the hook with a DJ and rows of Seahawk, tents, banners. You don't want to be a Rams fan at his thing, So yeah, it's killer. We're gonna do the same thing on the 25th in Arizona at the Salt and Tequila. We're gonna be with Earl Thomas. We're gonna be with O'Brien Schofield, and I don't know if Walt's gonna be able to make it, but I'm gonna be emceeing the event, and we're gonna have a great time Thursday night game.
I'm gonna try to make it there.
And Raphael's gonna be joining the party because mom's in town. So premier odds maker. All right. I always do this every year. The over and under, what has it moved at all with Seattle? We were at 7.5 when the preseason started. The last time I talked to you, where are we at over under on wins for the Seahawks this season?
Some books bumped it up to 8 wins, and I think the reason why people like them over is because what you guys said earlier, defense. I think the defense is going to be the main reason why they hang around in games, and the main reason why they're going to sneak up and win a game where that team may be like, wow, why did we make the playoffs? Oh, because we lost to Seattle in week 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. This defense is going to be the main reason why you guys have W's when maybe you shouldn't have had a W.
Well, we deserve all the W's. Don't even start.
I can't say that. I have to be down the middle.
Well, I said it last year. I said that's a no-brainer, and I said there's 2 words that Raphael hates. One is lock, and the other one is parlay. So I'm telling you though, last year that was such a layup to be over the 7.5. I believe that again this year. I don't gamble, and I won't do it to you because if I put money on them to be the over, it's not going to happen. That's why I don't gamble. I take the best bets and I somehow botch them. So. But
the only thing that scares me out of your division, 49ers don't scare me at all. I think they're going to make not just a step back, but probably a huge step back. Yeah. It's the Arizona Cardinals. If they come up and win, go to New Orleans and whoop up on the Saints, that us 4 could probably throw a better pass than what the Saints have as quarterbacks. If they can win that first game, now you have momentum. Going into 16 games, where you win your first game, what does that do to a young team like the Cardinals who have a young line that both sides of the ball have, offense and defense? A first game W can carry that over. The Cardinals can be a sneaky team out of your division.
I mean, the Cardinals ought to change their names to the Wild Cards. Every year they're a wild card. You don't know what it's true. Every single year. They could be good, they could be bad. They usually turn out to be down the middle or,
Where's the Rams at?
The Rams are flavored Kool-Aid of the all summer. Last year, it was pretty much the Vikings and stuff like that. It's been the Rams. I don't understand why the Rams are getting so much love this year. I think it's between the Cardinals and the Rams that can surprise it. Again, I am not sold on San Francisco. I think they take a huge step back. I think it's going to be between the 49ers and Cardinals, and then the Seattle can maybe sneak up on there. It would not shock me if the 49ers are 3rd or even the last place in the division.
All right, so the game's coming up. I know there's lines already because everyone's been waiting for week 1 for a long time. So where are the lines? What's the plus minus? Where we fall in? And for those that will not listen to you, JB, if you're watching, the parlay pick, give it maybe a couple of things that you like out of the what do they call those? What do they call the things like the running backs or the touchdowns or the
prop bets and stuff like that?
Bets. Yeah. Give us a couple of prop bets too.
I like the Seahawks total sacks in the game over. I think it's like 3.5 right now. I think their defense is going to be really pumped up for this one. It's an afternoon game. Right now, the 49ers are 2.5 point favorite. If you like the Hawks, which I kind of do, but I want that plus field goal. Everyone's chasing money because they lost all morning long. They're probably going to pet the 49ers because let's face it, 49ers, doesn't matter what kind of team they have, they're a bet-heavy team. They're like the Green Bay Packers. They can have the worst team possible, but they're always going to have the most betting action because of their fan base. Same thing with San Francisco. If I can get a +3 on Seattle, which I do believe, I think Seattle plus the points in week 1 is a good bet.
But you like over 3 sacks. I see them coming out. I don't know that they have the receiving core. I think they're going to rely heavy on CDMC and
he'll be hurt. CMC will be hurt in the first quarter. That's why I don't like. If you look at the 49ers year after year after year, their injury list just grows and grows, and I think that's why they're not going to be healthy again. And they're like the Buffalo Bills in the 90s and stuff like that. They couldn't just get over the hump to win a Super Bowl. That's what the 49ers, their health is like the New Orleans Pelicans. The Zion's always hurt. They're just a team that's always hurt. I can't trust the 49ers and their health.
I wonder if there's something to that because you have a point. They're always hurt. I mean, maybe not like 5 years ago, whatever else, but the past like 4 years, they've been hurt a lot. I wonder if something something to that. That's interesting. I don't know.
Just look at CMC. I mean, great player when he's healthy.
Yeah, when he's healthy.
He's like Mike Trout. Him and Mike Trout probably hang out together. That's probably what
But they train their butts off, But something always seems to happen. I know Walt doesn't mind throwing $1 or $2 down on a game. What questions you got for Raphael, Walt? Not necessarily Seahawks, like anything.
Who's the favorite to win the Super Bowl? I know everybody wants to know who does Vegas have win the Super Bowl, or who has the highest odds? I guess.
Well, the Eagles right now are the favorite, which I don't think they're going back to back. Because let's face it, the last time we see it was the Chiefs, and last time I checked, Mahomes doesn't play for the Eagles. They got lucky last year because of health. They were a really healthy team all season long. They were 70-1 to win the Super Bowl to open up the season. Because remember, everyone wanted to fire their head coach before the season even started. They wanted him out, and then they win the Super Bowl. But I just don't see the Eagles this year doing it. Their December schedule is brutal. They play Washington twice at Washington, and then the last season they got Washington at home. So there's brutal schedules. So I don't see them going. I'm going to say because I want to see them. You see that Wrigley Field sign? I saw my Cubs win a World Series. I want to see the Buffalo Bills win a Super Bowl before I die. Just give them one ship.
You think this is the year?
I think so. I think this is the year. You know what? I've always told people Green Bay Packer fans are crazy. Bills Mafia fans are crazy. And I've been hanging out with both of them pretty much all my football lives. They tell me the Seattle Seahawks fans are almost like the Sounder fans. You guys are creeping up to a very big fandom kind of crowd. So congratulations to Hawk Nation.
Yeah, we've been there.
What do you think? Why do you think the Bills have a chance outside of just being a fan? So, like, what have they done within the organization to kind of revamp and be competitive in the AFC?
I think the teams that beat them, I think, are taking a small step backwards. I don't trust Baltimore. I think, King Henry was fantastic. But last time I checked, a running back doesn't get younger each year. They get older this year. And now everyone sees film of King Henry in a Baltimore Ravens jersey. Now you have Patrick Mahomes, which I don't even think the Kansas City Chiefs win their division. You got the Denver Broncos defense, and you have the Chargers, who are both knocking on their door. So now if you're Buffalo, the two teams that beat you, I think taking a step backwards. I think Buffalo takes that step forward.
So what's the line on that? What's the plus?
The Buffalo Bills are like plus 750. You can get them almost 8-1 in some books.
That's not
I'm
bad.
going to say a sneaky pick. I am not sold on the Ravens or the Cincinnati Bengals. Last time I checked, the Bengals can't play defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers win the division this year. You heard it here first. The Steelers win the division.
That's huge.
So what's the bet on what's the line on that?
9-1.
9-1 on them winning the division.
Yeah. Everyone thinks the Bengals and the Ravens. Yeah. Give me the
Browns?
Pittsburgh.
No Browns? No Browns?
Come on, Walter. Come on.
Hey, outside their offense, though, their defense has been one of the top 10 defense the past few years.
And I feel bad for their defense. No one talks about their defense, and it's always top 10 the past, 4 or 5 years, but everyone just wants to make fun of their quarterback room.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a great defense. If we don't score any points, last time I checked, that's what wins games. I mean,
It's a tough one, though.
Defense
What's the wins for the Bills?
Like 11.5. I actually kind of think they go under. I don't think a team rolls over and easily pushes 12 wins this year. I think there's just so much balance, I think, this year in the NFL. In years past, okay, this team's going to dominate the NFC. This team's going to dominate the AFC. I think we're going to see a lot of closeness in games. I don't see 12 wins. I think the Eagles, they're 11.5. Everyone bet them under. Buffalo Bills 11.5. Everyone bet them under. So I would be blown away if I see a 12 or 13 team win season.
Would it be safe to bet the under on the Cowboys?
What if
I kind of like the Cowboys, even though they traded Parsons. I think when you get cancerous out of your locker room, I think some teams step up. I like the trade that they did. They got a nice, talented guy on defense. And if Parsons' back is as bad as I'm here, if you have to get a shot before a game, I know you guys are probably taking shots. I only take shots because I've had 8 heart surgeries. Those are only shots I've had. But if you're taking a back shot to play a game, maybe that trade was not as bad as we all thought it was.
Yeah. I used to
I
have my
don't
elbow
know
shot.
enough about the Cowboys, but was he actually a cancer in the locker room? Is that a true statement?
I've heard some my sources in Dallas saying some players were getting tired of the ants. I think when he was laying down on a table the last preseason game, I think some players, hey, like, what are you doing?
Gotcha.
Yeah, to your point, I used to have my elbow shot before every game. Otherwise, I couldn't lift it. You know, just it was just tore up. Not that I made a difference in the game, but yeah, if you're relied upon to make a difference in the backfield and disrupt and go up against a 360-pounder and your back is torqued, that's a long season, and he has to have cortisone, I think, before this game.
Yeah, if you're a basketball player and you need a shot in your knee before a game, that's the same thing. If you're a defensive player and you need a shot in your back, then I think that's a big red flag.
Hey, what about Washington this year? What's their plus minus to get to? Is it all win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl?
We have to get to the Super Bowl, to win the AFC, to win the NFC. How many wins you're going to have in your division? I mean, you know me, Dave. There's a gazillion different ways to bet.
Hey, Cedric, I got to share this story, and because we haven't had Raphael on for a minute, so Walter's heard it. So, but when I first met Raphael, he was working with us on Sideline Sports, and he was giving over-unders and doing these things. And so I get this like friend request, and it was like he's doing an odds on who's going to get killed first on a Marvel movie. And I'm like, okay, what hokey doke guy is this? You don't do like prop bet on who's going to get killed in a Marvel movie. So I thought it was like a guy trying to scam me, and I blocked him.
Yeah.
And then I go, I'm going, hey, can you believe this, Raphael? Some guy tried to send me a thing over. He goes, that was me.
So he's not joking. He has bets on everything. He's not joking, huh?
No, I mean, I do more movies and entertainment, and now people want me to do more wrestling stuff because I work with Jonathan Coachman. I do his show 5 days a week, so I do a lot of wrestling with him and stuff like that. So I would say movies and entertainment probably take up more of my time than actually football and sports.
Wow.
So, hey, Raphael, before I let you go, let everyone know where you are, because you're going to be a regular with us this season, giving us the lines for the next week. And I'd love to get to the point where people can send us maybe 1 or 2 asks, like on whatever game or whatever they're liking, and get your feedback and get some interaction. But where do people find you if they want your expertise?
Now, you did mention about Washington. Be very careful about Washington this year. Yes, they got a whole bunch of new bells and whistles, but you know what everyone else has? 18 games of Jaden Daniels to watch what he did last year. So it wouldn't shock me if they maybe take a small step backwards, because I'm a big believer of a sophomore slump at CJ Stroud. So it can happen to anybody. So don't be putting all your money on Washington, because I think the Giants are going to be a little bit better than years past. But you can find me on social media at the VSI Doc Sports on X. You can find me at Rafael Esparza on Instagram, Rafael Esparza on TikTok. My PR firm made me join TikTok. I'm 50 years old, so yes, I am on TikTok now. So thank you for my PR firm. But you can find me all that, and you can also find me through Dave and X and stuff like that. So if you have any questions on games or whatever, just shoot me something on X, and I'll respond quickly.
Right on, bud. Hey, man, great having you on. Appreciate your time. If you want to hang out, you can hang out, but I want to get said some more time. We can talk a little bit more about the upcoming season, and you kind of started talking a little bit about it, said about what you're excited about when we had Mike on.
Yeah.
But I agree with everything you're saying. I love our offensive line. I love the youth. I love the athleticism. But I think that, we've talked about this, Walt, and that is, at some point, there's got to be a group that says, okay, that's enough. We are not going to be that group anymore. We are not going to be the reason we're losing games. We're not going to be the reason our quarterbacks running for their life. We're not going to be the reason our running backs aren't getting any extra yards. And I think I love the temperament of the group.
Yeah, I'm very happy how Mike answered that question, because I wasn't sure if athletic offensive linemen translate it into like really good linemen, but that's what he looks for. You know what I'm saying? And that's huge, because that's kind of where he got his bread and butter at, his offensive line, tight end, blocking, all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking the fact that they're so athletic, we have one of them that's not hugely athletic, but he's powerful. I forget what his name is, but he's a power guy. But I think, obviously as a fan, I'm always hyper focused on the offensive line, because I can't remember the last time we had a good one. It was Steve Hutchinson. We had the Walter. We had like a Hall of Fame line back. I want to say that was maybe 2004, 2005, 2003. So it's been a long time since we had a really good line, and kind of see what that does with, Alexander and how he performed. I mean, can you imagine that with Marshawn, you know what I'm saying? Or even with Kenny right now, and then Charbonnet. So seeing these guys run on Kansas City got me all fired up. And so I was, I'm really intrigued to make sure to see if we actually have an offensive line this time. And like Mike said with Darnold, we're going to need that, he's not exactly light on his feet. So right. I guess he's a little athletic, but we're going to need it.
So anything new, Walt, that you're seeing getting ready for this matchup we got this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's getting adjusted. I mean, it's a big game online right now. It's your first conference game, or division game there, and it's like Rafael said. I mean, you want to go. This is a big game to just have that momentum moving forward. First game, get the win. Carries a little bit more weight than the Cardinals playing the Saints in that capacity, getting the win. To where like you kind of can stake your claim in the division moving forward, and just trying to continue to grow. I mean, yeah, I think it's I think Sam has a lot to prove this year, especially after how last year it ended. And I think there's some question marks there. Not necessarily question marks, but, people kind of have like, hey, he needs to run game. Can he pass the ball and be that that true number one quarterback where he's going to sling it 30, 40 times a game? But again, I don't think they need him to do that, especially with that running back room that we have. And obviously that defense, I think it's going to be, controlling clock, playing style defense. I mean, could be a quick game. I think the Niners are going to run the ball a lot, because they don't have the receiver personnel like they have had, last year and the year before in that capacity. So I think they'll rely a lot on the offensive line, and I think it's going to be a low scoring game though.
Yeah. What is Rafael? Since you stuck around, what is the over under? I have two questions actually as we were talking. The over under on points scored, and the other one is what is the rushing total for Seattle?
I'll check the rushing total. The over-under in this game, it's 43, but this one opened up at 45.5. So everyone, the betting public, agrees with Walter right here. I think it's going to be an under game. The Seattle Seahawks are going to go as far as their tight ends take them to. Yes, their offensive line, they're going to need to push around and run the ball. But if you can run the ball, what happens in the second half? Those tight ends could be open, and if they can have some tight end play, that's what's going to push their offense. Yes, the wide receivers need to run their routes, but I think the tight ends are going to be really, really key. Because if you look at the Vikings last year, they had fantastic tight end play because of their running game. So both of them mixed together. I think Seattle runs high on their tight end play.
So what's our rushing total for the Seattle?
Let's see here. Hold on.
I'm putting my parlay together.
So someone just asked what's Sam Darnold without Justin Jefferson. I thought I just put out there what someone kind of put out there. Oh, by the way, shout out to Rosie. Thank you, Rosie, for wishing me a happy birthday. And
happy birthday, Cedric.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean he's got Smith and Jigba out there. I mean he's got Cup out there. I mean he's got some weapons. So, I mean it's not just the one guy that commands. Right. Which again, even when you watch those tapes of the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know how many times Justin Jefferson was just running free down the field, no one's covering him. So I mean that goes a long way too, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Hey Dax, absolutely be running a lot of bootleg because there's going to be a lot of play action going on. Hey, that tight end kid out of Miami, our rookie tight end,
Aurora.
He's like a slash. He's a tight end / receiver, and I will tell you, he's been impressive, as well as the rookie receiver we got. Some rookies are going to make an impact. I don't want Raphael off the hook on that rushing total for Seattle.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now. I don't know why it's not up.
Okay.
Is Bobo hurt? Is he okay? Does anyone know? I think the last game I saw him got hurt, but I'm not quite sure if he's.
I think he went into concussion protocol. I don't know. I have not heard any updates on Bobo.
Okay, I like that guy. Hope he's not.
Love that guy.
We're gonna need him.
He made the team, right?
As far as I know.
Yes.
We're gonna need him this year. Yeah.
I got 21-18 score of the game, Seattle. That's your 3-point spread there. We'll take that.
Yeah.
I guess the other side.
21-18 is 49, so that's over. Wow.
Wait, what is it?
Raphael said the over under is like 43 or 45.
Yeah, it opened up at 45. It's 43.5 right now.
Okay, they're betting it down.
Mm.
That's Walter's calling it. So I think this, and I think we can all share this sentiment. I think it's going to be a great game for us. It's going to be, that like Walt says, the division deal. We always start off. I think the last few years we started with the Rams or the Cardinals, and have given up some losses on games we thought we should win. Yeah. I think this year we come out and we get that momentum that Raphael was talking about. I think we finally get off the schneid with season opener losses against a division rival. I think our offensive line steps up. I think we run the ball up and down the field, make a few plays, and our defense just kind of shows and electrifies the stadium. We got to get that stadium rocking again.
Yeah, 100%.
That's my prediction. We go around the horn.
I like how your show is interactive with the chat now. Everything pops up. When did that start going on? I love that.
I like Seattle. I like Seattle plus the points. The 49ers have struggled on the road. They haven't covered a game on the road in their last 5 games. And I know Seattle has struggled at home, but this is a different Seattle team. This is totally different than last year and years past. The whole mindset of Seattle is going to be different. So I'm not looking at past. 49ers are the same 49ers team we've seen in years past. Seattle, this is a totally different team.
With half the talent.
That's why I think the Hawks, if I can get the +3, I'm jumping on them.
I like that.
So
I think we're gonna win this game, to be honest with you. I think our offense is improved. We don't know what Sam's gonna do yet, but he looked pretty good in the preseason. Our defense is awesome. Our running room. Who's our third running back?
Oh, I just looked.
And this chat can answer too.
George Holani or Holani?
Holani. He looks good too. He looks good.
Yeah, he ran hard.
Yeah, he did. So
he's gonna be like a short yardage guy, I think.
Yeah, I think we're gonna run the shit out of the ball with that.
I think he'll be the second running back because I think Zach guy. They're gonna use him for like screen passes and stuff like that. So I think Holani will probably get the ball a lot more than what people think.
All right.
Zach's a stud.
So we do this every year too before the season starts. Total number of wins. Raphael, what do you think the Seahawks are going to come in at?
Man, it's my first day. I'm being put on the spot.
That's why you're here, man.
I'm gonna say 8.
Wow.
I think there's some loss. I think there's some losses where you're gonna look back and say, I can't believe we lost that game. Because again, I'm high on Arizona this year.
Okay. Well, that didn't start off the way I thought.
All right. I'm honest. At least I didn't say like 12 wins are gonna win the ship.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, then you know what? I'm going to think about having you back next week. All right, Cedric, what do you think, man?
I got 10, man. I got same as last year. I could be higher, but I got 10. I don't see us losing. Even though, like you said, wild card, we always have Arizona as a wild card, but I don't care. I think our division play doesn't matter who's good, who's hot, who's not. Division play is just different. I see 10 easy. So I think I would bet that over 8. I'm going to throw some money on that one.
All right, well, get with Raphael. He can connect you. Let's do it.
If it wasn't for that tough November schedule, then I would probably add maybe 1 or 2 more wins. Because after their bye week, it's rough. They go to Washington, Arizona comes to their backyard. So what team is
you like the Titans?
You know, Titans are not going to be no pushover.
Yeah.
I like this offense. I like Cam Ward. We've seen rookie quarterbacks this week, year after year. I like Cam Ward. He's going to be a surprise.
Yeah. How's the Vikings look?
I think it's the Packers division to lose now. So much money came in. I said when Parsons got traded, it was like he's the quarterback. I've never seen a defensive guy get so many Super Bowl tickets written. But last time I checked, he can't throw a spiral. And last time I checked, defense is not going to win an offensive type game. So I still think the Vikings are in second place, but I think it's going to be between Green Bay and Detroit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm on the Cedric take. I think looking at the schedule, I think 10 wins is in grasp. I hear what you're saying, Rafi. I think there's going to be some games that are going to be like, how did we lose that? I think there's going to be some games that's going to be like that we might not have been able to pull off that we come out and win. I think like that Steeler game next week or the following week is going to be one of those games that there's probably looked at that we're going to probably be not favored to win that game. Again, this Niner game is a game that we're not favored to win, right? So I think we still a game this weekend that goes and gets us into that 8, 9, 10 range. So I think 10's good. I think we win the division. I think that's more important than anything, regardless of how many wins there are. I think we win the division, get in the playoffs, and try to make a run. But it's going to come back to how healthy we are.
I think our offense is going to be surprising. Not many people are talking about our offense. It's mainly defense. But I'm telling you right now, I think there's going to be. So as long as Sam plays his role, I think our offense is going to be surprising. The offensive line, our running backs, and Clint Kubiak. I think he's going to come in to do what we got Shane, what we thought Shane would do that didn't really do. I think Clint's the real deal. I think people are going to be shocked. And you heard it right here. I think our offense is going to be a lot better than people think.
If you get Sam Darnold last year, weeks 1 through 14, then I am totally wrong with my predictions, and you can probably see 9 or 10 wins. But if you get Sam Darnold towards the end of the season and you struggle to run the ball,
that's fair.
You're gonna look at this Pittsburgh Steelers maybe getting that W. Maybe week 12 when you have to go to Atlanta. If you're playing well, Seattle could be a road favorite going into that one. But if you can't run the ball and Sam is Sam, you could be probably a 6-point underdog in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
that's
to all your points, I'm gonna agree, and that is, without the new offensive scheme, we're an 8-game win. With the new offensive scheme that we have, with the 2 tight, single tight fullback, run heavy, just be big, hat on a hat, play action off that with our great receiving core. We're very talented there, and not as talented as we've been, but we are. And really, without our defense, we're not going to score a ton of points. Although we scored 43 for the first time I think that I can remember in years in that preseason game, which really doesn't count, but. Our defense is going to manage people and easily 10 games. And I think we're going to sneak up on a lot of people because a lot of people just have thought about us of the old. With the new changes we made and the personnel we have, I think it's going to be a great season. Raphael, thanks for joining us, buddy. Appreciate you. Glad to have you back with us. Cedric, looking forward to hanging out with you. Thank you for your support with our watch party at Wild Goose in Newport on 17th Street, man. Get there early. Parking's going to be tight, but it's a great atmosphere. TVs everywhere. They've given us a whole section that we're going to be able to do the show from, and we're going to have former players joining us and hanging out from all different teams. But we'll have a bunch of Hawk players. Hopefully, Walter can make it down. Did you move?
No.
Okay.
No. Still in Chino. Yep, we're still out here.
All right. So
Okay.
good. So hopefully
He just
can
has
make it down
husband
Saturday.
duties. He has husband duties.
He brings the girls. He brings them down. Hey guys, look, we've been waiting for this weekend for months. Have a good time, but if you drink too much, man, that's what football's about. Having some beers. If you drink too much, don't drive home. All right. Be good humans. We'll see you all next week. Go
100%.
Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.